So welcome to this video, and in this video we're going to have some problems related to graphing polynomial functions. So given a certain graph, we want to determine the intercepts, zeros, and leading coefficient and the multiplicity of zeros. So let's have this graph. So we have this graph, which is this one. As you can see here, it has downward to the left side of the graph, downward and behavior, and then upward on the right side. So as you can see, we want to get first our x-intercepts. Okay, x-intercepts. Okay, it's much easier if we got it here. So I think these are your x-intercept, 1, 2, 3. So we have now negative 4, comma 0, and then we have negative 2, 0, and we have also 0, 0. So technically, the x-intercept are also known as your roots. So the roots are negative 4, negative 2, and 0. Now, when you talk about now y-intercept, as you can see, what's lying on the y-axis is your y-intercept. And technically, this is also your y-intercept. So you have now 0, 0, because it makes the value of our y0 would be there. Okay, now let's get into go on with our leading coefficient. Now, if we have our x-intercept there, so let me just change now the color of my pen. We can declare this as, we could have now x plus 4. And then we have now x plus 2. And then we have now x. So technically, our leading coefficient, you check now when you want to find out your function. So f of x equal to x, then x plus 2, then x plus 4. Now, you multiply all the x's and you would see now your leading coefficient. And I believe our leading coefficient, when you multiply that, all the x's, is 1. So I think we are done with this one. I think when it comes to the multiplicity, we are not able to look at that because I think this is a cubic function. So the behavior is going down and then this up. So I think this would be enough. So multiplicity, all this would be multiplicity would be 1. M means multiplicity. M would be 1 and then M would be equal to 1. I think we got an answer for this problem already. Okay, let's have another one. So we have here determine the intercept, zeros, leading coefficient, and the multiplicity of the zeros. Okay. Now, let's look at now. Let me have another the blue pen. So, let's start with our x-intercepts. So, as you can see, these are our x-intercept. So, we have now negative 4, comma 0, which lead us to x plus 4. And then we have another one. We have 1, comma 0. That would lead us to x minus 1 as a factor form, right? So, then we go with our y-intercept. Okay. The y-intercept is here. I believe that should be 0, negative 16. Okay. Now, I think we're good with the intercept. We got our zeros. Our zeros are here as well. So, our zeros would be negative 4. Let me just use another color of pen so that we will have an emphasis on that. So, negative 4 and 1 is our zeros. Leading coefficient. So, when you look at now, so we need to form now our function. Okay, f of x be equal to, now, look at now the behavior. This is going down and then going down. Then on the other side, there will be 1 and then going down. So, you would see now the multiplicity. If those are the behavior, if it's going up, there will be odd. However, they're both down. So, I think we could look at now at x plus 4. Would be squared, right? And then on a behavior as well here, that would be x minus 1. That would be squared as well. So I think we could get now the multiplicity of the zero. So multiplicity is equal to 2. Multiplicity is equal to 2. Now when you multiply this one, so this would be x times x, that would be x squared, and this x. So I think the leading coefficient, I would put it as c, that would be equal to 1. Sir, how about if we ask now, how did you get negative 16? So you get the square of this one. 14, 4 times 4, that would be 16, and then 1 times 1. How about, so it turns out to be negative in behavior, right? So as you can see, you put now a negative so that, because you would see now the behavior is going down as well. So now we got now our leading coefficient as 1, and then this would be negative 16. Okay, let's go on the last problem of this one. So this one. So determine the intercept, zeros, leading coefficient, and multiplicity. Okay. Now, intercept, it's much easier for us. So we have now given this function. So x minus 2, it will lead us to the intercept would be 2, 0. This would be x-intercept. And then x plus 5 would lead us to negative 5, 0. So, how about if I want to find now my, what do you call this? I want to find now my y-intercept, right? So, if I want now to find my y-intercept, technically, I want to expand that. However, you can just change all the x's to 0. So, if you change all the x's to 0, you will find now that your x-intercept would, your y-intercept would be 0, 0. Remember evaluating, before we change the y to 0, now you change x to 0, and then you'll find now your y-intercept to 0, 0. Now, I think we're good with the intercept, the zeros as well. So the zeros are 2 and negative 5. These are zeros. Then leading coefficient, once again, x times it will be leading coefficient would be 1. When you multiply this one, x times x, then x, it will be 1. If there would be a numerical coefficient, it's much. Now, when you go on the multiplicity, then your multiplicity for this one is 2, and then multiplicity is 1. So I think we have now a good set of analysis on the parts of graphing polynomial function. I hope you learned something with this one. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.